Campaign 2010 coverage from the UW Milwaukee campus. Our guest is Ieshuh GRIFFIN. She's the independent candidate in the 10th Assembly District. That's an open seat, isn't it,
yes.
Ieshuh?
Yes,
Representative Polly Williams is retiring after a long time in office, many terms. Yeah. So can you tell us a little bit about yourself and why you're running, please?
Yes. I was always involved in community activism in Milwaukee. I'm a paralegal. I've done freelance journalism. I work directly with community activists such as the late Janetta Robinson, doing case management and different things of that nature. And being a resident in the 10th district, being a constituent, I've been subjected to a lot of the, I think, disingenuous services that we have not been given or provided. I've also experienced a number of arbitrary treatment as it relates to those in the 10th district. So being in the 10th district, I know the things that's necessary that are needed to help facilitate, move that district forward. At a point in time, I decided to run for Aldermanic District in 2012, but this seat abruptly came up, and I felt that this would be a better position based on the fact it is a state position and legislative, and that the current representative in the area, I don't think they're doing a sufficient job to represent the people. So being in that district, I thought that I could effectuate change.
Well, what type of change does District 10 need?
All right. Well, in Milwaukee, Milwaukee is the only city in the state of Wisconsin that's on the poorest cities, 50 poorest cities list.
Yes.
Fourth
poorest. That was a recent ranking. Excuse me.
Definitely. You know, and in that district is a high concentration of those people that represent those numbers. As far as the joblessness rate in Milwaukee, the joblessness rate for the city is larger than the state average. A large concentration of those numbers are in that district. Just again, some of the services that have been provided around the district aren't available to those that's within the district. So, you know, I would like to implement some things I have. If I'm elected, TCB committees, taking care of business committees. MEND US is a pilot program, massive economic neighborhood development under supervision. Recently, I don't know if you're aware of this, but Wisconsin lost about 10,000 private sector jobs. But in Milwaukee, they're privatizing public jobs. You know, it's a contradictory there. Now, I don't believe in privatizing public jobs, but at the same time, private sector jobs are definitely necessary. With MEND US, I have some ideas where the 10th district wouldn't just be recipients of certain services, but the decision makers. For instance, you have federal programs like the Federal Fidelity Bond, where employers can kind of get insurance on those who they hire, those that they seem at risk or what have you. It's no cost. It's free up until like 6 months, and then if employers choose to, they can purchase those bonds further for very minimum amounts. So getting private sector jobs and using these bonds would ensure job creation. You know, just again with the statistics, 71% of the women in Milwaukee live in poverty. 43% of those women are single mothers. You know, so a lot of programs are definitely necessary. A lot of things that are already on the books in Madison need to be enforced. Again, Milwaukee is #1 segregated for the in the nation, but segregation also includes services. So we're not getting the services necessary as needed. You know, a lot of people think about the crime rate, but the statistics show a different story. It's 39th as far as most dangerous cities, but it's second highest as it relates to the top 5: police misconduct, unjustified shooting, excessive force, what have you. That high concentration is within that district. So I would like to implement community compliance officers where we profile the bad police officers. Like in Arizona, they have the Brady list. They have a list of officers who have a repeated pattern of problems. You know, I'm not saying that the totality of the Milwaukee Police Department is bad, but when you have those numbers, something is wrong. You know, with the educational system, our biggest expenditure for the state is education. Yes. But in Milwaukee, the No Child Left Behind Act has been failed 5 years in a row by MPS. You know, I don't think it's the teachers. I think it's the system. You know, the curriculum is not updated. It hasn't been updated in years. You know, we need to bring it up to par. And we also need to look at the alternative to the educational level, because all children have a guaranteed right, purportedly by our Constitution, that education is guaranteed. But you have in the Milwaukee public school system, the expulsion rate is tripled. And there's no backup plan for those who have been expelled, who are still entitled to an education. And there's no system in place saying why they were expelled, you know. So those things need to be correct. With the choice program, the school is put through accreditation. The choice school, 85% graduation rate. MPS, 58%.
Yes.
The choice students, the 8th graders surpassed the MPS 8th graders in testing, as so did the 4th graders.
Right.
You know, we have the charter schools, but the charter schools are about to meet that 5,200 cap in a few years. So we have to look at alternatives and look at the schools that are doing well and implement some of the procedures. You know.
Do you think the limit should be taken off, choice and charter?
Oh, definitely. I think it needs to be a uniform format,
okay.
You know, including MPS. Now, MPS is the district that receives the most money, but the same is failing, you know. And it's not that I don't support MPS. I don't support the failures of MPS, you know, because it affects the children. We need to, someone asked me recently would I agree with having the teachers put on certain salary and pay on based on their performance. And I think that it's not the teachers. I think it's the administration. You know, the teachers' hands are tied, you know, especially with the way the curriculum is going and what have you. So I think we need a uniform system that encompasses the charter, the choice, as well as MPS, but still giving the parents choices, you know, implementing maybe a people's board over the school board.
How come you chose to run as a independent and not a Democrat?
Well, as an independent, I'm specifically running for the interests of the people. If you look at the Wisconsin Blue Book, the Democrat and the Republican are defined as private parties, voluntary organizations for control of the government. Mm-hmm. I'm not trying to control the government. I'm trying to, you know, assist the people. I'm running as a servant, not as a leader, you know, and trying to open up the government to the people, because in all actuality, it belongs to the people. I've offered that if I am elected in Milwaukee, especially in that 10th district, they're putting up cameras all over the city. They're watching the people. And I offer that if I'm elected, you can have cameras in my office my whole tenure. People should be able to see their official working for them. I also want to implement a 6-month grading performance. If I fall below a D, they can remove me without waiting for a recall or re-election.
Who would grade you?
The constituents in the 10th district.
Okay, based on what?
My performance. They'll have, and it'll be randomly, you know, graded, because you shouldn't have a person in office that, you know, changes the game when they get there. You know, I'm definitely eager to effectuate change. You know, our taxes is 58.4%, I believe, of the revenue comes from taxes. You know, the property tax is the highest, but the personal income tax is the highest as far as over the nation, is higher than the nation. But you have the corporate tax that's, you know, lower than the average in the nation. Okay. The corporate tax is a flat rate. Over 20 years, it's been flat. But when Wisconsin first implemented the tax program, it only had one bracket. Now there's 4 brackets. I think we should have a flat tax rate. You know, I don't believe in punishing punishing rich people because they're rich, but also persecuting poor people because they're poor. So we should
have a uniform tax rate.
Uniform, definitely.
Well, how would you solve the state budget deficit problem?
Well, again, the problem is internal. When you have spending, you have less spending. Wisconsin does not spend as much, but we're taxing. Yeah. So you're getting a lot of taxes, but you're not getting a service. You know, we have where the employees, the officials, receive 26.4%, I believe, fringe benefits straight from taxpayers. Mm-hmm. Another thing I've stated that if I'm elected, I wouldn't want that 26.4% other than health care. I would like to have a pilot program where that percentage is converted into dollars and used towards that district. You know, if you look internally, a lot of that spending is going on wasteful spending inside the government. Mm-hmm. It doesn't make sense when you have $6.6 billion in taxes collected, but the deficit is at $2.7 billion.
$2.7 billion.
You know,
over the next 2 years. That's a 2-year figure.
Definitely. You know, something is wrong there.